All right, guys, the Iceman here. It's that time once again for a pay-per-view preview and predictions video. So, the first time ever Battleground in the WWE is this Sunday, October 6th. And although I thought the WWE build-up for this pay-per-view wasn't as good as it could have been, um, we just have to deal with that and take it for what it is. But anyway, uh, on the preview show, the kickoff match is Dolph Ziggler versus the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, Damian Sandow. Now, as we all know, both of these guys really don't win all that much lately on WWE TV. Um, the reasons for that, I'm really not sure of. I think on this thing, though, as far as Damian goes, I think the WWE wants to make him out as a loser, so no one will expect him to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase contract, and so that's why I think where they're headed there. They want us to think since he loses all the time, he's not gonna cash in anytime soon, and I think he's gonna surprise everybody by cashing in. With Dolph Ziggler, though, it seems like ever since he had his concussion from Alberto Del Rio, Dolph has really done nothing but really job and lose to the Shield time after time after time. Um, be quite frank, I'm tired of Ziggler going up against the Shield. I think it's been totally redundant. And, I was watching a video by Jekyll Knight Wrestling where he said, there's a lot of repeat matches, and he's absolutely right. I mean, this is why the WWE has become a little stale as of late. And I'm not even sure, if they know which direction they're headed into at this point. Obviously, they usually pre-plan things way ahead of time, but right now it doesn't let us WWE fans really know what direction they're headed. So anyway, so we got Ziggler and Damian Sandow. Um, this could actually go either way because they both lose all the time. But it wouldn't surprise me if Sandow got beat and then maybe possibly cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. But I'm going to predict that Dolph Ziggler is going to come out on top of this match. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Uh, we also had a match added. The Intercontinental Champion Curtis Axel going up against R-Truth. Recently, the WWE had posted they want to start pushing R-Truth once again. I really don't see that Axel's going to lose this belt as of yet. Um, I do see it happening in the near future, and that's where I see that Axel and Heyman maybe sort of drift apart because now that Heyman's got Ryback, um, with the absence right now of Brock Lesnar, I think Ryback and Heyman are going to be the focal point of the Heyman stable. So I'm looking for Curtis Axel to come out on top. But by no means, this should be a really pretty good matchup and a very good match as well. So we'll just wait and see what goes on there. We have Cody Rhodes and his brother Goldust, who recently signed a very short-term contract with the WWE, going up against the WWE Tag Team Champions Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Um, I don't believe this is for the title. Now, this has to do a lot with Cody Rhodes and his dad Dusty remaining with the WWE. Um, so, with the fact that Goldust had signed a short-term contract, um, this obviously leads us to believe that Cody and Dustin are going to beat the Shield. But again, it's in a non-title match, but it gets Cody Rhodes back in the storyline on the WWE roster once again, and we'll see him, a lot more throughout. So look for Rhodes, Cody, and Dustin, or Goldust, I should say, to defeat Rollins and Reigns in a non-title match. We have the Divas Championship. This is an interesting one where the champion AJ Lee is uh, defending her title against Brie Bella. Um, on most occasions at this point, I would pick AJ Lee to retain her Divas Championship belt. But I just have an inkling of a thought that possibly Brie Bella is going to come out on top of this match, and I'll give you my reasons why a little later on in this video. But I would love to see AJ hold on to the belt till WrestleMania, and it's quite possible that she might, because Michelle McCool is slated to come back in a big way. So who none other for her to beat than AJ Lee? So unless AJ loses the belt and then regains it back for WrestleMania, again remains to be seen. But this is going to be a pretty good Divas match. But for some odd reason, I just think Brie Bella is going to come out on top of this one. So we'll just have to wait till after the pay-per-view to find out. All right. One of the most anticipated matches for myself, CM Punk and Ryback. Now, Ryback, now a Paul Heyman guy. We've seen a lot of segments with CM Punk as of late. As we all know, he had re-signed with the WWE. I'm looking for a major push for CM Punk probably towards the end of this year. But this is going to be a pretty interesting match because, to be honest with you, I don't know which direction it's going to go to. I think they really want to try to push Ryback in a big way once again. And I think this will probably be his last big major push. And if it doesn't work out, I think the WWE will give up on him. But yeah, so this could be a very brutal match. And indeed, I think it's going to be a very brutal match. And this could end up in a match to where Punk and Ryback will have another rematch again at Hell in the Cell. So it's quite possible Ryback will come out on top of this match. Or, you know, possibly there is really no clear-cut winner, just so they will establish the finality in Hell in a Cell. So again, look for a great match between Ryback and CM Punk. And I would have to say this right now that I think CM Punk is probably the most charismatic and the best guy on the mic in the WWE right now. So this is going to be a fun match to watch. I think this match might even steal the show, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we have the World Heavyweight Championship match with the champion Alberto Del Rio versus Rob Van Dam in a Battleground Hardcore Rules match. Now, all this favors Rob Van Dam, but I still think, regardless of what rules and whatnot favor what wrestler, I still think that Alberto Del Rio is going to come out on top of this match. It's going to be another good match. We didn't see much of Ricardo Rodriguez as of late, and I'm not sure whether he is going to play a factor in this match. Maybe not this match, but if they do face each other once again at Hell in the Cell, it could be a major factor because RVD is going to take some time off, so he's not going to become the World Heavyweight Champion. So whether or not this is the match that he gets beaten up to the point where he's going to be off TV for a while, I'm not sure of. It could be at Hell in the Cell. But by no means is Alberto Del Rio going to lose his title on this given night. But it will be, as we all know, RVD can wrestle with the best of them, and he puts on a great show. And I expect this to be a very entertaining World Heavyweight title match. So again, Alberto Del Rio will come out on top. And that leads us to WWE title, the vacant title. We have Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan. I was thinking in the beginning that Randy Orton was a given to come away with this belt. But I'm not so sure. It could go either way, obviously, because, the thing for me is, Daniel Bryan's got the belt on two different occasions previously since SummerSlam, and they've taken it away from him. And it's sort of taken away a lot for me to watch and hope for Daniel Bryan to win, because every time he does win, you figure there's going to be something that's going to happen that's going to take the belt away. But I was thinking maybe possibly Daniel Bryan could come out on top of this match, and wouldn't it be very fitting for Brie Bella to be the Divas champion and Daniel Bryan become the WWE champion? I mean, their recent engagement, they're together. I think it would be on a fitting note that both of them would walk away with the titles. and so that's interesting. Um, Now that's my one thought, but now my original pick was there was no way Randy Orton was going to lose to Daniel Bryan, but then again he doesn't have the belt, so it would be okay for Daniel Bryan to get the belt and then maybe possibly lose it at Hell in a Cell. So look this to be another great, entertaining match. Looking forward to it. They didn't really build up Battleground to what I thought was a very good build up, but the card itself, as it stands right now, whether or not they add anything else on SmackDown tonight, uh, remains to be seen. But as the card stands now, I think it's going to be a very entertaining pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to it Sunday night, and I'm looking forward to giving my review once it's done. So that's it, guys. That's my preview and predictions for Battleground this Sunday, October 6th, presented by the WWE. Let's hope it turns out to be what we're expecting. So, peace out, everybody, and have a great Friday night. This is the Iceman.